You're listening to the Dre Area Sports Show, live on YouTube and X. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe.
The Dre Area Sports Show is brought to you by SEATGEEK. Use promo code Dre Area Sports to save $20 on your first purchase at SeatGeek.com. And we are also brought to you by BetUS. BetUS will match you up to 125% on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000 by using promo code Dre Area Sports, Power Brand Systems. If you're looking to build a website for your small business or YouTube channel, then check out Power Brand Systems. Use promo code 300POWER to save up to $300 on your first purchase at Power Brand Systems.
And today we switch over to the San Francisco Giants. I'm joined by Dan, Coach Emilio. Dan, what's up, man?
Hey, man, it's great to see you. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Good, man. I've been great. Obviously, I watch you a lot on the Krug show. I think you guys do an awesome job on there. And, you know, once the Giants season started, I was like, dude, I got to get Dan on here to talk about the Giants. And, dude, last night, our Giants pulled it out. Hey, it was a game where I was like, well, I guess this is just how it's going to go this season. You know, I was getting all down on myself, and then they pulled it out. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
What was your impression on opening day?
Yeah, well, first of all, let's the ninth inning, a historic comeback. First comeback in the ninth inning to win a game on the road on opening day in Giants franchise history. So
that was
pretty
great.
Cool. Pretty cool of that. Yeah, I got to be honest. I like the team this year, but I had them losing yesterday because of the matchup. I thought Hunter Green was going to overpower them, and he did. But Elliot Ramos, without that 2-run homer by Ramos, I don't think the Giants win that game because
no way,
insurmountable to they scored 4 in the ninth, but a little different when you're down 1 versus 3. Just
absolutely
a whole different feeling. So I thought the game was tremendous. It played out pretty much similar to how I thought it would while Green was in the lineup pitching, because I thought they would have a tough time against them. Historically, when I looked at their numbers, but prior to the game, the lineup the Giants put out there yesterday going in lifetime against Hunter Green was 4 for 41, which is an 0.98 batting average, and with 21 strikeouts in 41 at bats. And it's like, how are they going to score off this guy? And Elliot Ramos, man, great at bat, fouls off 5 consecutive pitches before he hits the ball over the right field wall. It was a great vibes. Great to see him get off the opening day and kind of follow through with the spring they had. 21-6. You kind of think, it's spring training, doesn't mean anything. But I think this year it does, because it's a whole new regime change.
Yeah, no, definitely. When you look at the roster, obviously going into this offseason, there's a lot of players that, I wanted I wanted the Giants to go out and get. Pete Alonso was one of them.
Me too.
And they just, I don't know. They just seem like, hey, look, we tried to get Corbin Burns. That didn't work out. We got Willie Adames, and then that was pretty much it. They were like, okay, we're just going to close up shop. We tried. And so to me, it was kind of like, okay, I feel like we're kind of giving up again. Like, we really, really got to try harder than this. But when you look at the lineup, Lamont Wade leading off, he went 0 for 4. He had a good first half of the year last season, so we'll see if he can kind of replicate that again. But when you look at Willie Adames, the guy you spent all that money on getting, he's batting in the 2 hole. I'm like, shouldn't this guy be your 3 hitter? And on top of that, I don't know how I feel about Jung-Hoo Lee batting 3rd. That threw me off. I don't get it.
I think they're probably better off having they really don't have a true leadoff hitter, so that's the issue.
But I thought Jung-Hoo Lee was supposed to be our leadoff hitter. Remember last year they were like, he's going to revolutionize the leadoff bat, the next Ichiro.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. I like Adames he batted 5th last year for Milwaukee and drove in 112 runs.
Yeah.
And he hit 14 3-run homers. He's not going to do that this year because there's not going to be that many people on base if he's batting 2nd, because who's in front of him? the bottom of the order and who's ever leading off, which is not a typical get on. I mean, yes, Wade gets on base if he's the leadoff guy, but I think Adames is better suited for fourth on this team.
Yeah.
Third, fourth, because he is a run producer. And, I looked at the numbers the other day, and Matt Chapman, who's batting fourth, is a guy who bats higher batting average by 15 points over any other place in the order in the second spot. So I would just flip Chapman and Adames, because Chapman's not he's not a guy that drives in a lot of runs. No. Never has. He's had over 80 one time in his career, and that was 2019. He had 91 RBIs, and that was a juice ball year, 19. So I don't take, he just doesn't hit well with runners in scoring position. I mean, he came up with a big hit yesterday in the ninth to get Lee over to third base to keep the game going. But yeah, I agree with you. I think the lineup is, I don't know about Adames in the 2-hole. We'll see.
Well, this could be a team where every game the lineup's a little bit different based on who they're going against. So it could be a case of that. I think that we're used to the Bruce Bochy style where it's like, no, everyone has their place and this is where they're going to be batting at.
Right.
But for me, Jung-Hoo Lee in the 3-hole, I was like, what are we doing? Like, I don't know about that. And this is a guy too that only played for us for like a month before he went out. I mean, last year was just a dismal year. It was like,
awful.
Oh man. And then Jorge Soler, they end up trading him because I don't know what happened to that guy. He couldn't even hit the ball.
No, he was horrible for us.
He was horrible. And I was excited for him too. I was like, now we got a power hitter. That's great. He was horrible. He was absolutely horrible. Even at the beginning of the year, he was just kind of okay. And then he just got worse as the season went on. But Elliot Ramos, he had the 2-run homer, opposite field 2-run homer. I mean, you're in Cincinnati. That's a smaller ballpark, but still that takes power to go opposite field.
Yeah, Ramos he's got incredible power. Remember, he's the only right-handed batter to ever hit it into McCovey Cove.
Yeah, the only one. That's nuts.
In 25 years. 25 years.
Yeah. But he had a good game. I mean, obviously he went 1 for 4, but he had the 2-run homer, which really got them back in the game because they were down 3-0, and it seemed kind of like nothing was going right. I mean, they struck out. What was it, like
16 or 17 times?
Yeah, it was ridiculous. I was like, okay, I get it. But if they're going to do that every night, they're going to have serious problems when it comes to strikeouts. And we know what Dom is. He's a strikeout king as well. He strikes out a lot.
Him and Chapman and Fitzgerald strike out a ton, and Ramos does up there as well. Yeah, this is my concern with this team. If I have one concern, it is going into some prolonged slumps where guys are not just hitting the ball because they strike out way too much. And last year, you remember, there was almost every game, it was 10, 12, 13, 14 strikeouts. And it's
they just hack.
Goodness. Yeah. And, I know they're talking about situational hitting. Buster really wants to emphasize that. And they did in the 9th inning, got situational hitting. They got the key hit by Chapman. And then, of course,
Patrick Bailey.
Bailey's hit was huge. And I was in a text chat with this group yesterday, about 5 guys. And they said, oh, no, Bailey's coming up. I go, he's great in the first half. He's going to come through. Watch.
And he did. I couldn't believe it. I was like, and the announcers too, because I watched the game, right? Then I watched the highlights, and I was able to watch the Reds broadcasting highlights. Their announcers, because he was, and they were pissed. Yeah, they're like, that's tie game. But I think Bailey, obviously, look, that's from the Farhan era. That's probably one of the only bright spots from Farhan is that he drafted Patrick Bailey. I like him a lot. Wilmer Flores had the big home run, the 3-run homer in the 9th, and that really blew it wide open. At that point, it was a 3-run lead, and they brought in Ryan Walker to get the save. I like Ryan Walker a lot. I thought he was dominant last season, and he came out of nowhere.
Right.
I mean, Camilo Doval didn't even pitch yesterday.
No, I was surprised that they didn't bring him in the 8th, but they brought, was it Miller in the 8th?
Yeah, Eric Miller.
Yeah, Miller came in the 8th, and Rogers was in a little earlier, and trying to think, there was one other.
It was Randy Rodriguez came
That's right,
in,
Randy.
and he looked good.
Yeah, Rodriguez looked good. So I was kind of surprised that we didn't see Duvall. So I kind of figured Duvall would be the 8th inning guy, but
Yeah.
they used Miller, and it could have been situational hitting. I'm trying to remember who came up for the Reds, but there might have been a tough lefty in there that they wanted to make sure they dealt with. So, but yeah, it's 1-0. Hey, we're gonna see where this thing takes us this year. I'm hopeful that it's I don't know if they're going to make the playoffs, right? But I will say this: they are definitely going to be more entertaining to watch this year.
I hope so. I mean, getting Adames was a step in the right direction. You got a guy that could drive in a lot of runs, a power hitter. I don't know why he's hitting second. Maybe that'll change. When you look at the pitching, though, Logan Webb, 5 innings. He gave up 6 hits, 3 earned runs, 3 walks, and 5 strikeouts. He didn't look his best. He wasn't as sharp as he was after the first 2 batters when he struck the first 2 out. I was like, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
And then it was just like, and then it was a mess. But he got the double play ball when he needed to. And really, he kept them in the game for 5 innings. And in today's Major League Baseball, pitchers they just go 5 or 6 innings. I don't get it. It's really weird. I mean, not too long ago, we were watching, Bumgarner and Kane and Lincecum going 8 innings, 7 innings, complete games. And now it's kind of like, whoa, guys, we don't want to do that. 5 innings, 6, that's good enough. It's weird. I don't get it.
It is a really crazy change. I mean, I'm a lot older than you, obviously. So I can recall Bob Gibson, Juan Marichal, Sandy Koufax. I mean, you don't even have to go back that far. You can go back to the 80s and 90s and watch guys like Bert Blyleven and Steve Carlton. All these guys, they threw 300 plus innings. They threw 25 to 30 complete games. I mean, they started 40 games. They started on 4 days rest, some of these guys, and then they just throw. I think one year, Marichal had 34, 35 complete games. I mean, come on.
And they had shorter careers as well because, I mean, look what they're doing. It's out of control. But it's weird how they all of a sudden, it seemed like it was overnight. They just made that change. So all of a sudden, 5, 6 innings, get them out. It's just, and occasionally you get the 7th, 8th inning games if the pitcher's doing really well. And I think Logan Webb's obviously capable of doing that. I didn't think he had his best stuff yesterday, but it was enough to get him through 5 innings. The bullpen came in and really shut things down. They scored a run off of Ryan Walker, but they pretty much gave him that run because they were just focused on getting 3 outs. But, this is a team where, I mean, look, we look at today's game, which is going to be at about 105. It's going to be.
They're actually off today.
Are they off?
They're off today. Yeah, it's a weird schedule.
It's one of those where they're like, oh yeah,
in case there's a rain or something, opening day, so they can get opening day in today if it rained yesterday, that type of thing. So
it says it plays on the 30th, so they have 2 days off.
No, they play
tomorrow.
Saturday,
I thought. Yeah, Saturday,
Sunday. Hey, I got to say, I love your background there. You got Barry, Steph, and Jerry over your left shoulder. Is that Joe? I can't see.
No, it's actually it's George Kittle.
Oh, Kittle. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I used to have I have another one where I had Debo right here. I had to replace him with Christian McCaffrey. I was like, I gotta get him out of there.
If you put in, man, I mean, you got 3 iconic legends of the Bay Area up there. I mean, George too. I mean, George is awesome, but I mean, I have often said this. I think Steph might go down as the greatest beloved athlete in not just probably the Bay Area for sure, but he's going to go down as maybe the most beloved athlete of all time. The guy, one of them. I mean, you look at what's going on, all the news of LeBron, right? LeBron is just constantly negative stuff. Him and Stephen A. Smith, and just you never hear anything like that.
Keep my son out of this.
You never hear any negativity like that with Steph.
No, you don't.
Nobody has a bad thing to say about Steph.
No, I mean, I can't think of any time that he's been caught in a scandal or caught in some shit talking with somebody else. I mean, the biggest thing I could think of at the moment was when Chris Paul kicked him off the court saying, oh, you can't practice on my court. I'm shooting
Oh, yeah.
in the playoffs. And what did he do? He came through the next day and he torched them.
Yeah.
And eliminated them. Remember, I remember in the locker room, he was like, try and run me off the court again. It was a huge thing. So, I mean, when you piss him off, he really makes you pay. And the Warriors right now are struggling. I'll talk about that in my next segment. But Steph's going to be coming back hopefully on Friday, which is today. They absolutely need him because it's ridiculous how bad they look without him.
Yes.
I thought it was tough without Jimmy Butler, but without Steph Curry, then now you're like, oh wow, there's a huge gap, a big disparity there. But going back to the Giants, tomorrow they throw Robbie Ray out there against Nick Martinez.
I think that's Sunday's game. Actually,
is this Sunday's game?
Tomorrow's game is Verlander against Lidello.
Oh my God, hold on. I'm looking at Yahoo Sports. They're not doing me any favors.
Sometimes they throw you off. I know. Yeah. I'm pretty sure tomorrow is Verlander Lidello. Let's see.
Here we go.
MLB Saturday. Yeah, it's Verlander against Nick Lidello.
Yeah, there it is right here. And now I got it. Verlander. And it's interesting to see that Verlander is going as the number 2 starter. And not Robbie Ray, because I thought for sure they would go righty, lefty, righty.
I did too.
Everything we thought they were going to do, we're like, okay, well, I guess not.
Yeah.
And Verlander, I think, realistically, I think Verlander's a good acquisition for the Giants. He's a veteran pitcher that's going to help with the younger pitchers and kind of develop them. My only concern is that I don't know how long he'll last. Is he going to last the whole season? If they make a playoff run, is he even going to be a part of it? I mean, we saw Randy Johnson on the Giants years ago, and then by July, August, he just wasn't even around anymore. He was just gone.
Right.
And then I think he came back at the very end of the year, and even then he looked decrepit, like he was like, oh, I really probably shouldn't be out here, but whatever.
Yeah. I think why they put Verlander, at least the beginning, I think Melvin's strategy is this. This is lining up. Logan Webb will pitch the last game of the road trip in Houston. He pitched game 1 and then game 6. So that leaves Verlander to pitch the home opener. And I think because he's a veteran, the nerves, Ray's a veteran too, but Ray can get a little wild at times. Mm-hmm. I think Verlander being that, Hall of Famer he is in the 20 years in the league, him pitching opening day for a new ball club is nothing to him. The nerves, he'll be ready to go. So I kind of like it for that reason, at least. I think Verlander might give us, hopefully he gives us a good, strong first half. And
when you look at the starting rotation, you're looking at Logan Webb, Justin Verlander, Robbie Ray, Jordan Hicks. Now, Hicks wasn't so bad until the second half of the year when he was like, you could just see him running out of gas every game. You're like,
as predicted.
As predicted. And then not only that, but like you could see him fading every game, especially in the second half. And you're just as soon as I got to the 4th inning, you were like, okay, he doesn't have anything left. You gotta get him out. Like what are we doing here?
Right.
And then he got moved to the bullpen because he just ran out of gas. And he claims this year, okay, I'm ready to go. That's not going to happen this season, but we'll see how that goes. But if he can stay healthy and he can last, the guy has some explosive stuff. And so I think he could be a difference maker in the rotation. Robbie Ray, if he's anything close to his Cy Young year, I think he's going to be good. I like Verlander there, but I just don't know how long he's going to last. And he may fall to injuries, and we might see Kyle Harrison come back. Kyle Harrison had a horrible spring where he got opted back to AAA, which I was like, holy cow.
Yeah, he got some virus or something, lost 10 to 15 pounds and was at the start of camp, so he was not ready to go. He wasn't stretched out. Also, he's coming off that shoulder injury last year, and he had to work through that in the offseason. I think you'll see Harrison probably some point in the season start probably 15 games because Roop and Hicks are not going to be able to give you that many starts. They're not going to give you that many. So for them to find 162 starts, right? They're going to have to. It's going to be by a little bit by committee. I think Harrison gets some starts. Birdsong gets some starts.
Yeah.
Roop gets some starts. Yeah. So they're gonna piecemeal this thing.
Well, and then Hayden Birdsong. I mean, I like him a lot, but they went with Landon Roop over Birdsong. Birdsong's still on the team. He's going to be coming out of the bullpen. You still got Spencer Bivens as well, who did pretty
That's
well
right.
for us later in the year. So we'll see how this rotation kind of plays itself out. We know that Landon Roop did win the fifth starter spot, even though on Yahoo Sports he's not even listed on there.
Yeah.
I found Roop. I'm like, dude, what the hell?
Yeah.
Why did we hit the announce that for? One last thing I want to ask you about was when it comes to right field. I mean, I know you got Yastrzemski out there, but if it's me, I want to see Luis Matos. We know what we're going to get out of Yastrzemski, and maybe they thought, well, it's opening day in Major League Baseball. Let's throw him out there. He's a veteran. He won't trip out. He had the good throw to get the guy out at third, but that's a play that Matos can make with his eyes shut.
You'll see Matos tomorrow as Ladello's a lefty.
Yeah.
So they will. My guess is the lineup tomorrow will feature. I'm going to take a wild stab at this and say that that Huff maybe catches. Maybe not because Verlander's going. Maybe they want to get him Bailey. We'll see. But I think first base is going to be Flores, second Fitzgerald, obviously short, and third. But you're going to see Ramos, and you're definitely seeing Matos. So DHing tomorrow will be interesting because Flores is going to be out. So who's going to get that DH role? Is it going to be I hope they don't make it Huff, the catcher. I would love to see Casey Schmidt maybe get.
Yeah, I think Casey Schmidt
would be.
Encarnacion's hurt, so it's not going to be him. I mean, that came at the worst time too.
Right.
Like, oh,
it's too early in the season to give guys rest, especially when they had a day off. But I could see they got a 17 game and 17 days stint coming up in April. I could see Casey Schmidt getting 1 to 2 starts at third base and making Chapman the DH for the day to give Chapman a little bit of a day off in the field. 17 games in 17 days.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
I couldn't even do one game.
Yeah.
I'd be like, sub me out. It's only the third inning.
No, I do see Casey getting some starts at third base, spot starts this year.
Right.
And, especially if they're facing a left-hander and they want to get use of Chapman's bat, but give him that day off in the field. And I think that'll help Chapman throughout the season. Matt Chapman has a 201 batting average, Dre, in September in his career. 201. He falls off the wagon. I mean, by September, he's done every year.
And you're hoping to get in the playoffs with this guy.
Yeah. So you want to give him, instead of playing the guy 160 to 162 games at third, how about giving him 140 game? With the DH, you can still use him. It's kind of like a day off.
Well, he kind of has that JT Snow effect where, like, even late in the season where if he's not hitting very well, he still plays stellar defense. You're like, it's fine.
Yeah.
It balances itself out. But we'll see what they do. I think the Giants, based on how they played last night, I think there's still a lot of potential to have a good season. As fans, we're really focused on who you're bringing in, who you're signing, and who are your power hitters. But when you look at the lineup up and down, when you look at guys like Chapman, Adames, Lamont Wade, Ramos, Matos, there's some talent there. It's the corner. It's the first base I'm not really sold on with Lamont Wade. Second base, I'm not really sold on with Fitzgerald and Casey Schmidt. They have to kind of prove themselves.
Right.
But first base, I think, is probably the one spot where you could say, okay, if we're going to address any need at the trade deadline, it'd probably end up being first base or right field.
Hey, wouldn't it be neat if they're in this thing? Check this out.
I would love it.
They're in this thing, and they say, you know what? Toronto falls apart, and they go for Guerrero for 2 months at first base.
I would do it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It depends on what you got to give up. But if you don't have to give up, your top prospects, it would be pretty cool to get a rental. But so I guess if you're a Giants fan, you kind of hope that Toronto doesn't have a great year because Guerrero's getting traded if they don't sign him soon. Unless Toronto's in the hunt. If maybe they just say, hey, we're going to get nothing back for Vladdy, but we're going to go for it all, because it'd be kind of crazy if Toronto's like in the thick of the wild card race. Let's say they're or competing for the division and they trade Guerrero. That would.
I mean, if they're competing, they're not. But if they fall out of it, then
that's why I say it'd be great if Toronto's not doing well, because I don't think the Dodgers would be in on Guerrero. I mean, they're in on everybody. Would they do? Would the Dodgers go after Guerrero and put him at third base?
I'm sure
and
they would.
Put him at third base for 2 months?
Why not at this point?
Because Max Muncy is not doing it. That would be wild.
I don't want to talk about the Dodgers, man. It's just
man.
With all the deferred money, it's like, what are we doing here? Like, how are we letting them get away with all this?
Yeah, I know.
But if you ask me, Major League Baseball wants them to be competitive. They want a strong market in Los Angeles.
Oh, of course, and yeah, I mean, something with LA. I have a feeling that ESPN has a lot to do with this. The ESPN. I mean, with the Lakers, the Rams, I mean, ESPN has the studios in LA, and they're always pumping LA, constantly pumping LA. They money talks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if you look at, I'm trying to see because I know they were big on Corbin Burns, and that didn't even work out. He didn't even pitch yesterday. It was Zach Gallen, and he only went 4 innings, so.
Yeah, and Burns isn't pitching until the 5th game for some reason this year.
That's weird. You would think he'd be like their number 2.
I don't know if he got behind in spring training or what the deal was, but yeah.
Well, we'll see what happens. But yes, the Giants play Saturday and Sunday against the Reds. It's going to be an action-packed weekend. Dan, thank you so much for coming on here and talking some Giants. Let's do it again. I'll definitely I'd love to have you back on later on this season.
Awesome. Hey, thanks, Dre. Appreciate it so much.
Thank you for watching this video. If you want more of this content, then check out some of these recommended videos right here on your screen. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And if you want to support the channel, you can do so by going to my website, which is nicotina.net, and there are memberships available under Dre Area Sports.